All right, so we've got figured out some of the basics of lipid digestion. We'll talk again more about in the lipid section. We'll understand a little about proteins. And I mentioned that the carb digestion is a little less complicated, but there are enzymes that you need to recognize in the digestion of your carbohydrates. So while we start with these amylases, we'll later see we have 3 specific enzymes that break down our disaccharides. And these are our simple sugars. Now, some of you might like to cook, and you might add sugar to your apple pie. That apple pie has sucrase right here, or excuse me, sucrose. That's table sugar. And it's broken down by this enzyme sucrase. Just look for that ACE at the end, okay? When you make that apple pie, perhaps you had a nice yummy crust and that had some starches in it. Well, that starch is going to be broken down by maltase. Okay? Starch is broken down by maltase, sucrose by sucrase, and maybe you had a nice yummy glass of milk with that apple pie, and the proteins in that milk, the lactose, will be broken down by lactase. So we see this trend now of enzyme oftentimes being termed something ACE. So look out for that. Not always, but very often. All right, so lipids, proteins, carbs, these amylases, and then as we continue down, some of these very specific enzymes for starch, sugar, or sucrose, and lactose. And so you should recognize those, and we'll talk a little bit more about exactly what these disaccharides are in the carbohydrates section. One little thing that can happen now with these little disaccharides is potential for not digesting them. And while usually we digest our starch okay, and usually we digest our sucrose okay, some individuals don't break down lactase okay. Those are the lactose intolerant. And those that are lactose intolerant actually have a deficiency of this enzyme here, this lactase enzyme. They could take lactose-free milk, or they could even take a product called Lactaid, which helps break down the lactose when you don't have enough lactase. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that and some of the challenges in general of digesting our food.